Alright, first and foremost, I want to give all glory, honor, and praise to YAHAWAH, by Hashem YAHWAH. That's to give all glory, honor, and praise to the Most High God, nameless only begotten Son, who the world ignorantly called Jesus Christ. May the Heavenly Father, love and mercy truly endure forever for Israel and Israel only, as it said in the Holy Scriptures. Alright, you got your brother Yerumia. Come back to do another sit down. And let's just get right into it. Alright, this video should be quick. It's the book of Matthew, chapter 11 and verse 11. Verily I say unto you, among them that are born of women, there have not risen a greater than John the Baptist. Now, the Messiah is saying this, but we know, all right, let's look at it from this angle. From Christianity, I mean, like, people can try to use this and say, oh, well, see, this is just to go and show that even more that he was born of a virgin, right? Because, I mean, although he came from a woman, it wasn't the traditional way of a man, right, laying down with a woman and getting her pregnant. This is why he's giving all credence to John, saying that, you know, that the traditional way that a woman get pregnant with a man laying down with her, I mean, that John was the greatest person to come from a woman in that way, but it's not what it's talking about, right? We know that in the law we supposed to love each other, right? And you supposed to love your neighbor as much as you do yourself. So this is just right off the bat. Let's understand that. I mean, this is something that's not even really understood a lot in our community. That blacks and Hispanics that we don't love each other. So this is something that Christ exhorted, right? Love for his fellow brothers, right? His fellow kinsmen, right? And when it's going into, let me see it. Among them that are born of women have not risen a greater than John the Baptist. Now, obviously, I mean, John the Baptist didn't die for his sins. It was YAHWAH, right? So, I mean, it could have people be like, well, you know, the greatest has to be YAHWAH. He, you know, he died for his sins, right? John the Baptist didn't do it. I mean, but what the Messiah was referring to was that because John the Baptist was the forerunner, right, for him. I mean, like passing him the torch, like that thing they do in the Olympics, which I'm probably sure is some wicked meaning behind it. But yeah, nevertheless, but that's you know, just an expression of what was going on, right? And it was already prophesied that that would be the case in Malachi chapter 4, right? That John the Baptist, right, which is Elijah, you see that a couple verses down, but obviously we're not touching that. We're just touching this verse. So this is why he was referring to has not a greater risen, or has not a child that was born of woman, you know, was greater than John the Baptist. I mean, so that's what YAHWAH was referring to, because he was the forerunner for him, right? Matter of fact, just let me get these two scriptures too. This is the book of Philippians chapter 2 and verse 3. Let nothing be done through strife or vainglory, but in lowliness of mind, let each esteem another better than themselves, right? That may be hard for, you know, I would say some of our people, but probably even a lot of our people to do, right? To esteem others better than yourself, right? It's not all about uh knowing and being able to bring out. It's cool to bring out extra information. I mean, I'm not saying that so forth, but to perceive to, but to go and perceive that you may actually have a little bit more, or could be more knowledgeable or more. I mean, like this makes you better in any way. No, so yeah. Sorry about that, but in the background. But yeah, but yeah, it's not that actually makes you better than the next man. Knowing more than them. Um, I know this breakdown. Yeah, I mean they don't get it and all this and that. Like it's kind of hilarious to me. Yeah, I mean, but you would think brothers would get it, but they don't. But hey, hopefully, Lord willing, brothers get it. But yeah, Philippians 2 and 3, let nothing be done through strife or vainglory, but in vainglory, right there. But in lowliness of mind, let let each esteem another better than themselves. Let's go here. Proverbs. Book of Proverbs, chapter 27, verse 2. Let another man praise thee, and not thy own mouth. A stranger, and not thy own lips. Right? That's easy. That's self-explanatory. Right? Shut up, and let the Lord put the spirit on another man to give you praise, reverence, a pat on the back, blah, blah, blah. I mean, let the Lord do that. I mean, too much in Israel, we feel that we not getting the credit that's due us, so we got to speak on it ourselves, and give it to ourselves. Now let's stay on the point. Let's go back here. Right, Matthew 11, verse 11. Really, I say unto you, among them that are born of women, there have not risen a greater than John the Baptist. Now, that's talking about uh, that John the Baptist, he was the forerunner, right? He was prophesied to be the forerunner before YAHAWAH, right? So that's what YAHAWAH was doing. He was big upping, right? His brethren. That's what's going on there, right? Nevertheless, he that is least in the kingdom of heaven is greater than he. Now it says, hold up now. He that is least in the kingdom of heaven. Let's go here. Right, Matthew 5:19. Whosoever therefore shall break one of these least commandments and shall teach men so, he shall be called the least in the kingdom of heaven. Right? Least in the kingdom of heaven is in a basically in a nutshell is talking about that, you won't be the first fruit. First fruit meaning you won't get to reign in the kingdom, right? um, being the first fruit, right? Being the elect, being, the 1/3. I mean, the elect of Israel, right? So you will be the least in the kingdom, meaning what? That you will have to come back as a newborn babe, right? Through the loins of the elect, right? Of Israel. So you will be the least in the kingdom of heaven because you will be a little one, right? But so that may confuse people because it's like, hold up, how can you be great? How can you be greater than he, right? Who is the he? John the Baptist. When you're the least in the kingdom of heaven, when you're gonna get destroyed, right? In the famine, the nuclear missile, race war, any other thing that can happen in these last days, right? So how can you be greater than John the Baptist, right? The forerunner of Yahushua, right? How can you be greater than he? Um, Let me see. Is this what I want? Yeah, this what I want. I believe this is what I want. Right. This is the book of Mark, chapter 6 and verse 24. And she went forth and said unto her mother, what shall I ask? And she said, the head of John the Baptist, right? Verse 27. Now this is obviously going into Herod, right? And this his brother's wife that he was dealing with, that John the Baptist was bringing out and stuff like that. I mean, she asked him for the head, or if it wasn't her, it was her daughter, if I'm not mistaken, not to go up to recheck. So it was either her or her daughter that was asking for the head of John the Baptist, right? And Herod, Edomite, he was in position and in power, and had this occur, right? So, I mean, um, yeah, let me go down. Verse 27. And immediately the king sent an executioner and commanded his head to be brought, and he went and beheaded him in the prison. Who's the him? John the Baptist. So that's that's what it's going into, right? So this is why a two-third coming back into the kingdom as a newborn babe. Let me get this. I'll say it. This will bring it all together. Hold on, let me see something. Yep, I think this is better on this version. Um, which one? Yeah, 22, 22. This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 49, and verse 22. This is what the sovereign Lord says. See, I will give a sign to the godless nations, right? All these heathens. They will carry your little sons back to you in their arms, right? So this is what's going to happen. Like your children, right? The children of Israel, they're going to get carried back. Like they going. Let me just finish this off. They shall carry your little sons back to you in their arms. They will bring your daughters on their shoulders, right? So these heathens is going to be cattle, which they always were meant to be for Israel, right? What these Jewish people say about us, right? Goyim. So they're the real Goyim, and they gonna be used as cattle for our children, right? The children that's actually gonna come back that ain't gonna be part of that first fruit. So now let's go back. Let's go back here. Right. So it's it's Matthew 11 and 11. And verily I say unto you, among them that are born of women, there have not risen a greater than John the Baptist. Why? Because John the Baptist was the forerunner of YAHAWAH, right? He was prophesied uh, to be the forerunner, right? To be bringing the gospel out before YAHAWAH, right? Right. So that's why he's the YAHAWAH said that he was the greatest born amongst women. Notwithstanding, he that is least in the kingdom of heaven, least in the kingdom of heaven is our people, right? We're the kingdom of heaven. They're going to get destroyed, right? That's why they're going to be the least. They're not going to be the first fruit or the elect of Israel, right? So they're going to get destroyed in the last days, right? He that's least in the kingdom of heaven is greater than he. Why? They're going to be greater than John the Baptist. How? Because they're going to come back to life. They're going to come back to being born, right? And have none of the hardships that John the Baptist had suffered, right? Have to worry about a heathen beheading them, right? Heathens is going to be serving them. So that's what it's referring to. That's the breakdown on Matthew 11 and 11. Hopefully, brother, sis was edified. Till next time, I say shalom.